Angaha, the stopping. Anugranita, acting to show mercy to you. Mat anusmritye, for the sake of remembrance of me. Nityam, constant. Matasya, of one intoxicated. Indrasriya, with the opulence of Indra. Drisham, greatly. The translation, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Indra, it was out of mercy that I stopped the sacrifice meant for you. You were greatly intoxicated by your opulence as King of Heaven, and I wanted you to always remember me. Purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. According to Sridhar Swami, Indra and Lord Krishna here extended heart-to-heart talk. Indra revealed his mind to the Lord, and now Lord Krishna similarly reveals his own intention. In text 11 of this chapter, Indra emphatically declared that Lord Krishna is in fact everything. And thus, according to Indra's own criteria, forgetting Lord Krishna is clearly a state of insanity. When the Supreme Lord reminds us of his supreme existence, he is not proudly advertising himself like a mundane politician or entertainer. The Lord is self-satisfied in his own infinite existence and is trying lovingly to bring us back to our own perfect existence as his eternal associates. From God's point of view, even the mighty King of Heaven, Indra, is a mere child, and a naughty child at that. And thus the Lord, being a caring father, punished his child and brought him back to the sanity of Krishna consciousness. Okay. So here we saw these three beautiful verses, how Indra is offering prayers to the Lord and how the Lord replies back to Indra. So we all know that 1 week back on 5th of November, this year at least, we celebrated Govardhan Puja, the beautiful festival, and how these verses they start. Okay, so before this, I will just give another background that here we see that how Lord Indra, he is asking for forgiveness from Krishna for whatever offenses he has done. But just before this, when Lord Krishna was born some time back, Indra and all the other demigods, they had visited to the jail of Kamsa, take darshan of Krishna and offered him beautiful prayers of glorification. And then again, Indra forgot that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and he commits a great offense, which we'll be discussing now. And after praying to this like this to the Lord, then again after some time, what happens when Krishna goes and he wants a Parijat flower from Indra's kingdom, then Indra rages a war against Krishna. Again, he tries to defeat Krishna. So here we see that again and again, Indra is forgetting that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He is the worshipable master of all of us. So that is the nature of this world, maybe we can say. That is the nature of many times when we have power, position, wealth, or even in bhakti, when we are there for some time in the moment, we may become proud. We may forget the basic principles of our spiritual life. So it is very important for us to remind again and again that who is the Supreme Lord, what is our purpose in life, and what should we be doing actually, how we can actually really progress in the spiritual life. So that's why I thought it is very important for us to learn certain lessons from this beautiful Govardhan fasting. Actually, last week, Radhika Vallabh Prabhuji, he gave a very nice thing that whenever we are celebrating a festival, we should remember three things. In the present, we celebrate the festival by whatever, like offering the prayers and cooking bhoga, kirtan and dance and so many things. We celebrate it in the present. But at the same time, what you should do is we should remember the past, the personalities who were involved in this pastimes, and we should be grateful and thankful to them. And in the future, for the future, we should learn certain lessons from this festival or the pastimes, and then try to improve ourselves or change for the better. So until and unless all these three things are there, we don't celebrate a festival properly. So to get the complete benefit, we should celebrate in the present, remember the things in the past, and learn certain lessons and change for better in the future. So that's why we will be discussing certain lessons which we can learn today from this beautiful pastimes of Srimad Bhagavatam. So on the other hand, we also see that actually this Ankut Mahotsav or Govardhan Puja, all over India and all over the Hindus, they celebrate it so nicely and they are all aware of it. But at the same time, they don't know what to imbibe from it and how to change their lives. So it has simply become more or less a ritual for them. And they do some festivities, they offer some bhoga, they do some agarbatti, aarti, deepak, and that's it. They don't change their lives. They don't learn the things from it. So it is very important for us to educate ourselves that what are we supposed to be achieving from these festivals. Okay. So as I was telling, about a week back, we celebrated this Govardhan Puja on 5th of November. And today is all exactly 7 days later, 12th, we are sitting here. So this festival, Govardhan Puja, it actually lasted for 7 days. So how this festival it started, just going to the little background of this, that just the day next to Deepavali, Nand Baba and all the Brajvasis, they were making huge preparations for offering sacrifices to Indra, for performing Indra Yagya. So they arranged lot of paraphernalia for Indra Puja, and they prepared huge quantities of bhoga to offer to Indra. And Krishna, he happens to see this, that so much of preparation is going on. So he asked Nand Baba that why are you doing all these preparations? What is happening? Looks like some puja is going to happen. So can you please explain to me why this puja is happening? And then at that time, Nand Baba explains to Krishna that because we have got this agricultural community, we are dependent on rains, and Indra is in charge of rains. If he gives us good rains, then our agriculture can flourish and we can live a happy life. Otherwise, there will be so much of problems. So this way, that is why we are worshipping, offering this annually. On one day, we offer this puja to Indra so that he is happy with us and he gives us rains. So this principle which Nanda Baba is explaining to Krishna is actually elaborated in Bhagavad Gita. So actually, if you see this whole pastime of Govardhan Lila, it is such a nice pastime that it encapsulates the entire teachings of Bhagavad Gita. Whatever Krishna spoke to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra in the form of Bhagavad Gita was actually already demonstrated by Krishna in this pastime of Govardhan Lila, much before he spoke Bhagavad Gita. So like Govardhan Lila or this puja, this entire pastime, it's like actually a action-packed thriller movie sort of a thing. And when you have some audio and visual both, the impact of learning should be very great. It's generally better than simple audio. So similarly here, Krishna, by demonstrating through this action-packed thriller, this thing, he is giving us the full teachings of Bhagavad Gita, whatever he wanted to tell us. But nonetheless, many people, they don't understand. And still, like we see, even Indra, again, he committed mistake. So for people like us, what Krishna did, he had to literally speak out in Bhagavad Gita. And then as we saw in this, Krishna is telling that Indra, I killed your pride. And then in the purport, we read that how Krishna is not talking out of egoistic thing that he is the Supreme Lord. It is out of his love for us that he tells us that, Baba, I am the Supreme Lord, because if he doesn't tell us, who will tell us? So out of love for us and out of caring for us, he tells us that, Baba, I am the Supreme Lord, please worship me, don't worship anybody else. So that's why he speaks like this in Bhagavad Gita. And sometimes people can question that how Krishna can talk like this in a proud way, in an egoistic way. But he is not proud or egoistic. He is self-sufficient. He is Atmaram. He has got nothing to do with us in one sense. He is fully satisfied and fully happy with his eternal devotees. But out of compassion for us, he tells us again and again and again and again in Bhagavad Gita that I am the Supreme Lord, please worship me. And that is the central message of Bhagavad Gita. Manmana bhav mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. So in this way, as I was telling, whatever Krishna wanted to speak in Bhagavad Gita actually is encapsulated in this beautiful pastime of Govardhan Lila also. Yeah. So coming back to the explanation which Nanda Baba is giving, that is actually very much valid, and it is part of the Vedas. So it is prescribed in the Vedas that how a person can be really happy in this material world. So we have to cooperate with the demigods. We have to be grateful. We have to be thankful. And in this way, we can have a happy and a peaceful life on this. So people who are below the level of the Vedas, people who are on an animalistic platform, people who are vidharmis, adharmis, or vikarmis, they don't bother what is there in the Vedas. They are not interested in any rituals. They are not interested in spirituality. And they simply want to enjoy, enjoy, and enjoy at the cost of everything else. So those people, those are actually being described in Bhagavad Gita chapter 3 as thieves. That if we are not grateful for the sunlight which we are getting, for the water which we are getting, for the air which we are getting, which are all essential things for even our maintaining our basic life, and we are not thankful to them, then what happens is we are simply stealing whatever the gods and his representatives are giving to us. So that is actually below the level of the. So when we come to the human platform, the Vedas start from there. That from animalistic platform come to the human platform, and then they talk about this elaborately in the Karma Kand section of Vedas, which occupies the major part of the Vedas. That if you do this sacrifice, you will be happy. If you do this puja, you will get this benefit. If you worship Shankara, you will get a good wife. If you worship Parvati, you will get a good husband. If you worship Ganesh, you will remove all the obstacles. If you worship Saraswati, you will get intelligence. And if you worship Lakshmi, you will get so much of wealth. So in this way, so many different pujas and rituals are being described. And people, unfortunately, they are all occupied. Most of the pious Hindus, they just remain occupied in this different rituals, and they don't understand what is the basic goal of the Vedas, what is the ultimate purpose of Vedas, what is the ultimate purpose of our lives. So of course, this principle is better than not worshipping anybody, living an animalistic life. But this is one level above it, that we become at least grateful to the persons who are offering us all these different benefits. So that is one level above. And this is what principle in Nanda Baba is telling to Krishna, that is why we are worshipping Indra or so many other demigods, and we should do it. So in one sense, it is not wrong. But again, we should understand that when we talk of religion, there are higher, different levels of religion, different levels of spirituality. So this, what Nanda Baba is talking, is a lower level of principle, a lower religious principle. And when Krishna is there, he wants to give us the highest. He wants to give us the best. Because as they say, that dharmo hitu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. Dharma is established by the Supreme Lord. He propagates what is real religion. Others are all captive religions or cheating religions. So Krishna asked Nand Baba that what is the use? Even if we become happy, even if we have a prosperous life, even if Indra gives us so much of rain, what is the benefit which we are going out of it? And then ultimately all this will be taken away from us at the time of death. So in this way, this is not of very great idea to worship Indra or trying to be happy in this material world, because ultimately it will be taken away by death. And then we see that many times people are interested in going to heaven. If somebody asks us, like before we have this understanding of spirituality or the spiritual world or Vaikuntha, people are interested in heavenly pleasures. Ki humko swarg jana hai, or we want to enjoy like what the enjoyment which is there in the swarg. And in some religion, there is only concept of heaven or the concept of Jannat. They don't even understand the concept of spiritual world. So Krishna, as he says in Bhagavad Gita, he says, "Ah Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna Mam Upetyatu Kaunteya Punarjanma na Vidyate." So Krishna is telling Nand Baba that what is the use of going to the heavenly planets? Because from lowest planet to the highest planet, what is happening? There is birth and death, there is problems, and there is no point, no fun in going to the heaven. So instead, better we should perfect our human lives, and there is no point in worshipping this Indra. So then Krishna also tells that why do still people worship such demigods? So as we discussed, that people are simply interested in this so-called happiness, temporary happiness, and to be happy in this life. That's all. They don't see the long-term vision. They don't have a long-term vision for them. And they are just simply happy in this cycle of birth and death only. That's with some little pleasures. They get try to be happy. So why do still people go? So Krishna explains in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He tells, Kame steste rita jnana prapadyante anya devata tam tam niyamasthaya prakritya niyata swaya. So Krishna is telling only those people whose intelligence has been stolen actually by material desires, by the desires to enjoy. What they do, they go to demigods. Because these people, they offer, you do some puja, they will give you some benefit. You do some sacrifice, make them happy, they will give you some benefits. So in this way, people with less intelligence, Krishna says, Alpamedasam, they go to different demigods. But if you are actually intelligent, what you should do is you should try to get out of the cycle of birth and death. And that only Krishna can give. Nobody else can give. Only Krishna or only Vishnu can give moksha. No other demigod, no other god can give us moksha. And then at the same time, Krishna explains beautifully to Nanda Baba that actually we are Indra or the other demigods. They are not independent. Don't think that they are some supreme masters and they are giving all these benedictions by themselves. They are ultimately dependent on me. I'm of course, this way Krishna is not telling Nanda Baba, but he's telling ultimately there are higher powers of the Supreme Lord who is sanctioning this. And until unless the sanction is there, the demigods also cannot give us any benefits. So 7th chapter again, Krishna explains this principle also. That's elaborately described in Bhagavad Gita about this demigod worship. So this is another principle which we can learn from this beautiful Govardhan pastime. One is, of course, we saw that Karma Kand section is there, then how we are not supposed to worship Devi Devtas, or if they are worshipping them, that is not very high level of intelligence. So in this way, Krishna tries to convince Nanda Baba that there is no point in worshipping Indra. So then the question comes, then whom should we worship then ultimately? Or should we not worship at all? So Krishna again warns us in Bhagavad Gita that people who are attached to Devi Devtas, those worships, we should not try to disturb them unnecessarily until and unless they are ready to take this next step forward of higher level of religious principles or spirituality. We should not try to disturb them. It should not happen that they don't worship at all anybody. Sometimes this happens that you try to say that don't worship Devi Devta and they might just totally give up. So worshipping somebody is definitely better than not worshipping anybody. But that is lower level of religious principle. So then, as I was telling, the question may come, then whom should we worship? If we are not supposed to worship Indra or Surya or Chandra or Ganesh or Shivam, then whom should we worship? So Krishna, what he does is that he tells Nanda Baba that we should be worshipping Govardhan hill. So whenever Krishna does any pastime, he actually fulfills multiple purposes through one pastime itself. So at one level, he wanted to teach us this message of Bhagavad Gita also, that there is no need to worship different Devi Devtas, and that is not very intelligent. On another level, he wanted to establish the supremest religious principle because he is the Supreme Lord himself. On another level, he wanted to curb the pride of Indra. Indra was, although of course he is becoming again and again proud and he commits so many mistakes, but nonetheless he is a great devotee of the Lord and Lord uses him for certain purposes. So Krishna wanted to curb the pride of Indra because that pride was not good for Indra. So he didn't want something bad for his devotee. He is always a well-wisher for his devotee. So Krishna thought that this pride of Indra should be removed. That was another reason. And then at another level, when this Govardhan pastime happened, all the different devotees of Krishna, they came together and they could reciprocate with Krishna for 7 days and 7 nights continuously, without any interruption, everybody together. And Krishna had a lot of exchanges with all of them. So this way, Krishna fulfills different purposes in one pastime itself. So here, Krishna, he is telling Nanda Baba that we should be worshipping Govardhan Lila. I mean, Govardhan, Shri Giriraj, Govardhan. So in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna again tells that actually, ye apyanya devatam bhakta yajante shraddhayan vitaha te api mameva konte ya yajanti avidhi purvakam. So Krishna is telling that if you are worshipping different demigods, Devi Devtas, we are ultimately worshipping Krishna. But that is avidhi purvakam. It is in a wrongful way. So why worship Krishna in a round and round and round? If we want to catch this year, why we have to go through all the round and catch this year? We can directly go to here. So similarly, Krishna is telling that you should worship me directly. There is no need for worshipping indirectly. And then Krishna is telling that all these sacrifices which you are arranging for different demigods. So there are 33 crore demigods as we know. So who all will you worship? Who all will you please? It is not possible for us in such a short span of life that we worship everybody. That is not practical. And even then they will not be satisfied. So Krishna says that we should simply water the root of the trees. And who is the root of the tree? The root of the tree is Krishna. Instead of separately putting water on different branches and fruits and leaves, we should simply pour water on the roots. And in this way, everybody will be happy and satisfied. And this root is Sri Krishna. So when we worship Sri Bhagavan Sri Krishna, what happens is automatically all the Devi Devtas they are satisfied. And Krishna says in 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he says, Bhoktaram yak tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram suradam sarva bhutanam yatva mam shantim rachati. So it's telling that who is the ultimate benefactor of all these yagyas, tapasyas, which you are doing. The ultimately bhokta is Krishna is telling that I am that ultimately bhokta. I am the enjoyer of all the yagyas and tapasyas. Actually, one of the names of Krishna, one of the names of Vishnu is Yageshwar, who is the master of all the yagyas. So ultimately, all these yagyas and tapasyas which you are doing, it should be done for the pleasure of Sri Krishna. And similarly, he says, Yat karoshi yad dashnasi, yad juhosi dadasi yad, yat tapasyasi konteya, tat purushva madarpanam. So it's telling whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever tapasyas you're doing, whatever charities you're giving, you should do it for my pleasure. So here we see again and again in different places, multiple places, Krishna is telling that he is the Supreme Lord and you should worship me. There is no need to worship again and different persons. So as we already saw that in the purport we discussed that Krishna is not talking all these things out of his egoism, but it is he is talking simply out of his love and compassion for all of us. And then Krishna also explains that what is the purpose of all these different sacrifices which are mentioned in the Vedas, the Karma Kand, but what are the ultimate goal which we want to achieve through Vedas. So 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Sarvasya chaham hriday sannivishto mattah smritir jnanam apohanam cha Vedeshcha sarve rahameva vedyo vedant kridved videv chaham. So it's telling that out of lakhs and lakhs of verses which are there in the Vedas, which people can't read, they don't have the time, they don't have the intelligence. But what is the ultimate person? What is the ultimate goal which we want to achieve through the Vedas? And even after going through this different karma kand, ultimately we have to come to the platform of understanding that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Vedeshta sarver ahame vedyo. The goal of the Vedas is to understand Krishna, is to reach up to Krishna. And this way, whatever sacrifices which you are doing for Indra, or whatever sacrifices you are doing for so many rituals and for different Devi Devtas, those are not required. Simply what you should do, Krishna tells, Manmana bhav mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame veshyasi satyam te pratijane priyo asime. So that is the central message of Bhagavad Gita. And the same verse Krishna literally repeats last verse of 9th chapter and towards the last few verses of 18th chapter. That become my devotee, offer obeisances unto me. And in this way you will come to me. There is no need to go anywhere else. So now he tells that let us worship this Govardhan. So Krishna tells Nand Baba that we should be worshipping Govardhan, and he tells that actually Govardhan is giving us such nice water, grass for the cows, and so many of fruits and vegetables and like that. So we should be worshipping Govardhan. And Nand Baba and the Brajvasis, they immediately accept the proposal of Krishna. So this is another lesson which we learn from here, that actually Krishna consciousness is very simple for the simple, and it is complicated for the complicated. So as soon as Krishna says that yes, we should worship Govardhan, Nand Baba and Brajvasis, they don't argue, they don't logic out, they simply accept Krishna's word. So that is the way that if we want to progress in our spiritual life, we should simply accept Krishna's words in Bhagavad Gita. We should simply accept the Krishna's pastimes, whatever is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. We should simply accept Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message that chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We should accept the Acharyas are telling there are so much of evidence that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the same Supreme Lord Krishna. He is the most merciful avatar, and he is just by chanting Hare Krishna. Prabhupada has promised that you just chant the 16 rounds of Hare Krishna sincerely, follow the 4 regulative principles, and in this way you can come back, you can go back to the spiritual world in this very life. So if we are simple at our hearts, we simply accept these instructions and chant Hare Krishna. As Prabhupada said, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. So it is simple, but otherwise if we are complicated, no, why Krishna is talking like this in Bhagavad Gita? I don't believe in Bhagavad Gita, or I don't believe in Srimad Bhagavatam. There's so many pastimes, they look like it doesn't fit into my mind. So it's practical. Maybe it is just theoretical or hypothetical. Or how do we accept Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord? Why should we chant Hare Krishna? So if there are so many different questions, of course, genuine inquiry is fine. But if they become too complicated, then there is no answer. Nobody can satisfy. Like as they say, if you can, means all of us, everything cannot be answered intellectually. Some things have to be revealed in our hearts, especially the spiritual concepts. So we should accept and start at a certain point. So here the Brajvasis and headed by Nand Baba, they simply gather all the paraphernalia which was there for Indra's worship, and they come to Sri Giriraj Govardhan, and they start beautiful festival for them. They worship Sri Giriraj Govardhan and they offer him nice bhoga. So another very important point which we can see here is actually Giriraj is in the form of a mountain. But then Krishna, he says that I am non-different from him. So Giriraj is actually performing 2 roles. He is performing the role of Krishna and is performing the role of Krishna's devotee. Just like we see how Balram actually is non-different than Krishna, but then he is in the mood of a servant. Similarly, Radharani is actually non-different than Krishna, but she is in the mood of a servant or loving relationship. So same way, Giriraj Govardhan is actually non-different from Krishna, but he is in the mood of the servant of Krishna also. So both these roles, Sri Giriraj Govardhan is performing. So sometimes people think that, or they blame that, why are we worshipping stones? This is simply a stone. So, but there is a full science which is there in the Vedas that if we have faith, if the proper installation ceremony has happened, Pran Pratishtha has happened, then the Lord is non-different from his Vigraha. तो जैसे बोलते हैं कि यदि आपके मन में श्रद्धा है तो पूजो, तो भगवान भी, पत्थर भी भगवान है, और श्रद्धा नहीं है तो भगवान भी पत्थर है. मंदिर में जो साक्षात भगवान जिनकी प्राण प्रतिष्ठा हुई है वो भी हमारे लिए पत्थर की मूर्ति है यदि हमको श्रद्धा नहीं है तो. But if we have faith, then even a stone is, God can manifest even through a stone. And this Krishna enacted through so many different times also, so many wonderful stories. Like we see in the case of Prahlad Maharaj also. Prahlad Maharaj, when he was in the palace of Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyakashipu asked him that, where is your Lord? Is he? Prahlad Maharaj says he is everywhere. Hiranyakashipu asks, is he there in this pillar? Is he there in this stone? And Prahlad Maharaj says that yes, he is everywhere. He is there even in this stone. And just to fulfill the words of his devotee Prahlad, Narsinghdev appeared from that pillar. So it's like if we have faith, definitely God can manifest from anywhere and everywhere. And even from the stone, he can manifest. And definitely a bona fide, the science of deity worship is there. That when proper Pran Pratishtha is there, the devotees, the acharyas, they invite the Lord that please come and reside in this form so that at least we can reciprocate with you. In our present condition, we are not that pure that we can interact directly with the beautiful transcendental Satchidanand form of Shyam Sundar. But out of his mercy, out of the compassion of the Acharyas, what they do, is they invite the Supreme Lord that please stay in this so-called material elements, and so that at least we can reciprocate with him. So this is beautiful pastime which is there. And okay, so this is another lesson which we can learn, that Krishna is non-different than from his Vigraha. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Pratima nahi tumi sakshat Brajendra Nandan. So all the Brajvasis headed by Nand Baba, they offer big bhogas to Sri Giriraj Govardhan. And Govardhan, he keeps on eating everything. And he says, Anna more, Anna or, Anna or. Mujhko or anna do, or anna do, or anna do. Give me more food, give me more food. So this place where this was happening, since Govardhan was telling anor, and it became anior. So if you go on Govardhan Parikrama, there is this beautiful village which is named as Anior. So you can see this in the Govardhan Parikrama Marg. So at that time, practically all the food grains, everything from the houses of Brajvasis was exhausted. Nothing was left. And then what to do now? Govardhan is still not satisfied. So what should we do? So then Krishna says that you simply offer a Tulsi ji to Sri Giriraj Govardhan. And as advised by Krishna, the Brajvasis, Nand Baba, they offer Tulsi ji to Sri Giriraj Govardhan. And as soon as Tulsi ji is offered, Giriraj becomes very satisfied. So here we see how important Tulsi Maharani is, how dear Tulsi Maharani is to Sri Krishna. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhakta Prayachati. So Krishna is actually not interested in our chappan bhogs or whatever we are offering to him, but he is interested in our bhakti. He is interested in our love with what we are offering to him. So we know this story of how Krishna, when he went to Hastinapur, Duryodhan prepared chappan bhog and he invited Krishna that please come. But he had a crooked mentality. He just wanted to politically make Krishna happy. So Krishna can understand our heart and he is not looking for externals. So instead of going to Duryodhan's house, Krishna goes to the house of Vidura, who is very dear devotee of Krishna. And he eats some rukha roti and sabji from Vidura's house. He is not interested in chappan bhog, but he is interested in our love and devotion. And here again, like Krishna is telling, when he's telling Patram Pushpam Phalam, he's asking for something very simple: a leaf, a flower, and a fruit in some water. That's all. And with, of course, with lots of love and bhakti, we should worship Krishna. So we see the supreme importance, the supreme position of Srimati Tulsi Maharani. So there is another very beautiful pastime about Tulsi Maharani. It shows the importance of Tulsi. So when Krishna was there in Dwarka, once Narad Muni comes there, and I don't remember the exact pastime how it happened, but then somehow or other Krishna starts walking with Narad. Narad Muni asks for some thing in charity, and then the queens say, Narad Muni tells queens that whatever is most dear to you, I want to take that. You give me that. And of course, all the queens, they love the Krishna most. So in this way, Krishna starts going with Narad Muni. Because Narad Muni has asked for charity, now the queens has given and promised their word, and now they don't know what to do. Krishna is going, they cannot let Krishna go. So then they bargain with Narad Muni. No, Narad Muni, please leave Krishna behind. We will give our jewelries, gold, ornaments, whatever pearls we have, equal to the weight of Krishna. That's how this beautiful ritual or whatever puja is there of Tula Dan is there. Weighing something or giving a dan or charity in equal to the weight of that person. So on one scale, Krishna is kept, and on another scale, all the queens of Krishna, they start putting their jewelries, pearls and diamonds and everything. But still, Krishna is so heavy, nothing moves. Practically the entire kingdom is empty, and still Krishna is not moving. So now what to do? So again, I think Satyabhama or Rukmani, somebody remembers that, okay, let us put Tulsi ji. So on one scale, they put Tulsi ji. And as soon as they put Tulsi ji along with the jewelries and all these things, so immediately the Krishna's weighing, which was there, this jewelry scale, it goes down, it becomes very heavy. And Krishna literally he goes up in the air, jumping up. So this, again, we see the importance of Tulsi Maharani, that how Tulsi is so dear to Krishna. He is not interested in our so-called opulences or bhoga, but he's simply looking for our love and devotion. And Tulsi ji is so dear to Krishna. Okay. Okay. So after accepting Tulsi ji, and Govardhan becomes very satisfied, then immediately Govardhan, whatever bhoga he had consumed, whatever bhoga he had accepted, that all is again manifested back and it is given to the Brajavasis. So again, very important lesson which we learn from here is that whenever we offer something to the Lord, we are never going to be the losers. We are going to get much more than what we are expecting. So as Krishna tells in 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he tells, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janaha paryupasate tesham nityabhyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. He's telling that whoever worships me with unflinched devotion and love, I will take care of them. Yogakshemam vahamyam. Whatever they have, I will preserve. Whatever they are lacking, I will carry it myself. So this is Krishna's promise in Bhagavad Gita. And similarly, here we see that Govardhan, he accepted everything and then he gave everything back to the Brajavasis. So the same pastime related to the deities also, like as I was talking, that Krishna is non-different from deity. So near Jagannath Puri, there is this place called as Alalnath. And a very beautiful pastime which happened, very instructive pastime which happened there is the deity of the Alalnath there, one deity where there is scar mark or burn mark on the chin of the deity. So what happened was that there was a child, small child, and the parents, they once asked the child that you please offer bhoga to Krishna and we have got some work. So this child, he offers some bhoga to the Krishna, and Krishna is not appearing. He requests with a sincere heart, simple heart, loving heart, and then Krishna, he comes and accepts the bhoga. And then later on, the parents, when they come, the father, when he comes, he asks, where is the food to eat? I want to eat the food. And then the child says that everything was eaten by Krishna. I don't have anything to, you told me to offer the bhoga to Krishna. He accepted it. So now the father thinks that maybe this child is lying. So what he does is that he says, okay, again you offer, and he gives some hot sweet rice to Krishna, to the child to offer to Krishna. And this person is standing behind the curtain to see what is happening. And as soon as the child again requests Krishna that please accept my Lord, this sweet rice which is there. So Krishna comes and he starts eating it. And this person who has got no faith, he was only doing it as a ritualistic purpose. Whatever pujas, offerings he was doing, he was simply doing as a ritual. He had no real faith, no real love, no trust in Krishna. And he thought that this is simply a stone. What can this person do? So this person, as soon as he starts eating bhoga, so instead of becoming so enlivened by Krishna appearing from the deity form, this person, because he was atheistic, he had no love. He becomes angry, in fact, and he snatches that bowl of sweet rice from Krishna's hand, and he says that if you eat everything, what will we eat? So in the process, what happens? That sweet rice bowl, some sweet rice, which was very hot, it falls. Like somebody is eating and you snatch it from his mouth, what will happen? Something will fall on the chin and the face. And this Krishna, he gets burnt on his chin. So this beautiful deity is still there in Alalnath. So this person, I was telling that he had no faith in the deity form of the Lord. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling that Tumi Sakshat Brajendra Nandan. The deity of the Lord is non-different, just like Govardhan is non-different than Krishna. So all these beautiful pastimes we can learn from here. Yeah. So I was telling that Giriraj, he gives back us everything, and we are not going to be the losers. Whenever we give something to the Lord, whether our dhan or time or whatever, Krishna is going us to give us much more. We are not going to lose anything. So meanwhile, now what happens is, all the Brajvasis, all the prasadam is distributed to all the villagers, the cows, animals, dogs, crows. Everybody is fed sumptuously. Then Krishna says, now let us do parikrama of Sri Giriraj Govardhan. And they keep the cows in the front and they all circumambulate Sri Giriraj Govardhan, chanting the glories of Giriraj and chanting the glories of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And in this way, this beautiful Govardhan Puja was celebrated, as I was telling, almost a week back on 5th of November this year. So after that, what happens is all the Brajvasis, they go home. And now, meanwhile, what is happening? Here in the heaven, Indra is wondering that every year they are offering me this puja. What happened this time? Where is my puja? So he becomes restless and he understands that, oh, this puja which was supposed for me, whatever yagyas, bhogas was supposed for me, the Brajvasis, they have offered it to Giriraj Govardhan on the simple talks of this small little child. So just like we see in Bhagavad Gita, it starts with a question from Dhritarashtra. Dharm Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsaha Mamka Pandavasteva Kima Kurvata Sanjaya. That what did this my children and sons of Pandu do on the battle of Kurukshetra? So similarly, Indra here, he is wondering that where is my bhoga, where is my worship, what these Brajvasis are doing. And in this way, when he realizes that, so this is the typical actually nature of all the living entities. As I was telling, that the pious Hindus or so-called people in this world, they are simply interested in our own enjoyment. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 16th chapter, he talks about the demoniac people, that people who are against the religion, who are against the God, what they think themselves to be the master of everything. They think that we are the enjoyers. We should be worshipped as God. Why should we worship anybody? So he says, Ishwaroham aham bhogi siddho aham balvan sukhi. I am Ishwar. I am the bhoga. I am the bhokta. I am siddha. I have got so much power. I have got so much wealth. So that is the typical mentality of people who are against the Supreme Lord, who are envious of the Supreme Lord. And such people, they can never understand the Supreme Lord. Like we see, the same is the case for so many personalities, like Ravan was there, Hiranyakashipu was there, Kans, Shishupal, and all these demons. They thought that why should we worship Vishnu? Who is this Vishnu? We can kill him. He is not the supreme. We want to be the supreme enjoyers. And they had so much power and control and wealth. But ultimately, they were destroyed by the Lord. So similarly here, Indra is also actually not that demoniac. We cannot say he is demoniac like Hiranyakashipu or other atheistic people, but Indra, he is having this demoniac mentality in his heart. Because of pride, he is getting puffed up. So that is like the position of typical so-called pious Hindus, who most of the times, I mean, sometimes we are religious, sometimes we are irreligious. Sometimes we want to enjoy, sometimes we do try to do some puja part for whatever reasons. So that is our condition, but we should understand that what is our ultimate purpose in our life. So Krishna, Indra, he becomes very, as he starts meditating on this, that where is my sacrifice? Where is my sacrifice? Why these people are giving this to Govardhan? Then what happens? Indra becomes very angry. So, and he, this process of how somebody gets caught in this material world, how we get entrapped in this material world, in these three modes of material nature, this is very nicely described in Bhagavad Gita 2nd chapter. 62 and 63 verse, Krishna tells, Dhyato Vishayan Pumsa Sangasteshu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kamat Krodho Bhijayate. So he's telling that once you start meditating on some sense object, like how Indra, with these verses are again depicting this typical picture. Indra is meditating that why this offering is not done to me, why this sacrifice is not being given to me. So dhyato vishyan punsa, we become attached. And then what happens? Sangas teshu pajayate, sangat sanjayate kama. And then when this thing is, we don't get that whatever we want, then we become very angry. Kamat krodho bijayate, we become angry. And this is what happened with Indra, that he becomes very angry. And then what happens once we become angry? So Krishna describes Krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibhramaha, smriti bhranshat buddhi nasho, buddhi nashat pranashyati. So once we become angry, we become illusion. Our memory is lost, our intelligence is lost. What is good, what is wrong, we cannot distinguish. So similarly, here Indra, he forgot everything. That this is the same Supreme Lord Krishna whom I worshipped few months back when he was there in the born in the jail of Kamsa. He forgets everything. And then Krishna tells in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he tells, Name viduhu surganaha prabhavam na maharshayaha Ahamadirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvashah. So Krishna is telling that even great sages, great demigods also cannot understand me. Why they cannot understand me? Because Krishna is telling that I am the source of everything. So even here we see that Indra is the king of the heaven. He forgets that Krishna, the same child, he is the supreme Lord. And he becomes very angry. What he does that I should teach, he thinks that I should now teach a lesson to this, all these Brajvasis. So he calls for the Samvartaka clouds. These clouds which are used actually at the time of destruction. When Pralaya is supposed to take place, at that time Samvartaka clouds are called. But Indra calls for them and he tells them, go to Braja and destroy everybody. So Samvartaka cloud, following the orders of the Indra, they come to Braj and they start showering torrents of rain. It is described that raindrops were not falling, but it was like literally columns and pillars of rains were falling. So Acharya has described it is actually literally as if a full ocean is falling into a small village of Vrindavan. And behind that, along with that, Indra, he comes along on his elephant Airavat with this Vajra. And he's sending thundering and lightning and is striking with this Vajra. And this way they try to destroy the entire Braja. So now again, all the Brajvasis, when this calamity falls upon them, they look towards Krishna. That Krishna Mahabaho, please help us, please protect us. They don't curse Krishna. Oh Krishna, because of you, we started this Govardhan Puja, we gave up Indra Puja, and now see what is happening. You put us into so many troubles. No, that is not the mood of a devotee. That is not the mood of the Brajvasis. They simply ask for Krishna's protection. They simply ask for Krishna's mercy upon them. They have full faith in Krishna, that no matter what happens, we want to love you, Krishna. We want to follow you, Krishna. We want to serve you, Krishna. So that is the mood where we can increase our love for Krishna. That is the qualification which is required for us to enter into the spiritual world. Sometimes we think that, okay, because we took to the process of bhakti, now so much of problems are happening. Or sometimes people are scared to keep Bhagavad Gita in their house, that, oh, Bhagavad Gita is there, Mahabharata will happen in our house. We don't want to keep Bhagavad Gita. They are ready to keep Ramayana, but they don't want to keep Bhagavad Gita. So in this way, but here the mood of the Brajvasis and a genuine devotee is that no problem, Krishna. Whatever problems come, not a problem, but we simply want to love you and serve you. And then immediately Krishna, what he does is that he goes towards Govardhan. He lifts up Shri Giriraj Govardhan with his left hand, and on his little finger of the left hand, he holds Shri Giriraj Govardhan for 7 days and 7 nights continuously. So today is the 7th day, as I was telling. Now it's almost about to get over whatever the Shri Giriraj Govardhan Krishna had lifted on his left hand little finger. And meanwhile, what happens? The clouds, they finish practically their full water. The Samvartaka clouds, the water which is used for pralaying, that is practically finished. Indra's Vajra, that is practically not able to move even a blade of grass from Giriraj. Not even a grain of sand from Giriraj could be moved. And now they realize that Indra realizes, my God, I have committed a big mistake. This small little child is my supreme master, the supreme Lord of all lords, and is Param Bhagwan. So at that time, he feels very ashamed and scared. And then he thinks, what should I do? I have to go and beg forgiveness. I have committed such a grave offense. I have not only tried to kill Krishna, but all of his devotees, all of his dear Brajvasis, I have tried to kill them. So I should be, I have committed a great offense. So what should I do? So here again, we see a very important principle, that how the power of Krishna's protection. And Krishna tells again and again in Bhagavad Gita also that don't worry, I will protect you. In the 4th chapter, Krishna tells Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. He tells that why Krishna comes to kill the miscreants, to help the devotees, and to re-establish the principles of religion. So now here, as I was telling, Indra is not a demon as such, but he had this demoniac mentality. He wanted to kill Krishna and the Brajvasis. So Krishna came and he killed the pride of Indra, the demoniac this demoniac quality of pride. He killed, and he helped, and all his devotees, Brajvasis, he protected them. And Dharma sanstapnartha. So Krishna wanted to establish the highest religion. Devi Devta worship is okay. It is a little better than something not doing anything. But then Krishna is not satisfied with giving us something less than something which is not the best. Krishna wants us to give us the best. So the highest religion he is telling, Dharma Sanstapnartha, that you should worship the Supreme Lord. There is no need to worship small demigods or for little benefits. And then towards the 18th chapter of last few verses of 18th chapter, Krishna says, Sarv dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tam sarva papebhyo mokshayikshyami ma suchaha. So Krishna is telling that give up all religion, give up so-called, of course we have to give up irreligious principles, but even give up so-called lower religion, Pitru dharma, Matru dharma, Devi dharma, whatever so-called pious things are there, ritualistic things are there, there is no need to go for them if you are taking my shelter. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. Just take my shelter, just become my devotee. And then what will happen? Aham tam sarva papebhyo mokshayikshyami ma suchaha. I will deliver you from all sins, and don't worry. So this Krishna is giving us this assurance again and again and again and again at so many different places in Bhagavad Gita. So here also Govardhan Lila, we see how Krishna protects his devotees. He gives them the shelter, and we don't have to worry anything once we take shelter of Krishna. So meanwhile, what happens is when Krishna was lifting this beautiful Govardhan hill, so some Brajvasis, they thought that how Krishna will lift up this Govardhan hill. He is a small child. We should support him. He will become tired. So with their sticks, they were supporting the base of the Govardhan. And some Brahmanas like Madhumangal, he was thinking that I have to empower Krishna with my Brahmanical tej, that so that he gets strength to lift up Govardhan hill. And in this way, different devotees were thinking like differently. So Krishna reciprocated with each of them differently. And so when Krishna, he slightly looked towards the gopis, and when he saw Radharani, his hand got shaken because of ecstasy, because of love for Radharani. And then slightly this Govardhan hill, it also shook. And all the other Brajvasis who were thinking that we are supporting the Govardhan with our with our sticks, they realized that, my God, this is not us who are actually holding, but it is Sri Krishna who is holding. So in this way, Krishna had a loving relationship, loving exchanges with different devotees under this Shri Giriraj Govardhan. And then another very beautiful lesson which we should learn is that how Krishna's mercy manifested. Krishna's mercy manifested through his dear devotee Shri Giriraj Govardhan. So Krishna is not going to interact with us directly because we are not in that pure state. But Krishna sends his mercy through his pure devotees like Shri Giriraj Govardhan, or through the, like we have Srila Prabhupada, or through his book form like Srimad Bhagavatam, or through his deity form. So in this way, different ways Krishna showers his mercy upon us. And in this way, like just how like Govardhan, through Govardhan, Krishna's mercy came. Or for Indra, the mercy came through via media of Surabhi. Or for us, all this mercy came through the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So Krishna's mercy comes through the mercy of his devotees. So this is another very important thing. And then, as I was telling, after this, Krishna, he just keeps the Govardhan hill down because now the rains are stopped. He tells all the Brajvasis, now you can go back. So after that, now Indra, he comes and he thinks that how can I beg forgiveness? How can I show my face to Krishna? I have committed such an offense. So Brahmaji advises that you take help of mother cow, mother Surabhi. Cows are very dear to Krishna. And today is also the day of Gopashtami, where Krishna was given the in charge of cows, and he takes, before that he was taking care of calves. Now he is taking in charge of the big cows, and he goes and takes them to the pasturing grounds. So anyways, so Brahmaji tells, okay, take the help of mother Surabhi. Keeping Surabhi in the front, Indra comes, he falls down at the feet of Lord Krishna, and then he offers this beautiful prayers, one verse only which we read out of that my Lord, you are the Supreme Lord, I had become puffed up, please forgive me, and I don't want to become proud again. And then Krishna says that don't worry, I have just tried to remove your pride out of compassion for you. And now you go back to your heavenly planets and you perform your duties. But as I was telling in the beginning of the class, again after some time, Indra forgets that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. When Indra comes to take, Krishna comes to take that Parijat flower, Indra again fights with Krishna. So here we see that Indra is becoming proud again and again and again. So we should actually literally give up this pride mentality and take shelter of Krishna very sincerely. Just like Brahmaji. Brahmaji, when he committed a mistake, he begged Krishna that please make me, I want to become a mountain in this Barsana, or I want to take birth in a very low class family. So Krishna allows him to become Srila Haridas Thakur, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur. Brahma tells that I am such in the position that I become proud. I don't want this position. But Indra is not requesting like this. He simply asks for forgiveness. Krishna says, okay, you go back to heaven. So this is the problem. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as he says, that if we really want to worship Krishna, if we really want to do Hari Kirtan, so what we should be doing? Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sada hari. That is the only way. We should give up our pride mentality. We should try to become humbler than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, and sincerely take shelter of Krishna. Sincerely take shelter of Krishna's devotee. Sincerely take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sincerely take shelter of Krishna's holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And one final lesson, that when we take shelter of Krishna, when we take shelter of Krishna's devotees, as long as we are in this material world, problems are going to come. Like Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita that this world is place of misery, dukhalayam ashashvatam. No, we cannot avoid the problems. Krishna is not going to remove the problems, but he will give us strength to face those challenges, strength to grow through these challenges in our life and ultimately achieve the shelter of Krishna. So similarly here, although the rains were falling, torrents of rains were there, but since the devotees, they took shelter of Sri Giriraj Govardhan through Krishna's devotee, they took shelter. So then they were not affected by any of those miseries. They were in fact having a beautiful pastime with Krishna. It was like the spiritual world. Krishna is there in front of you. They are reciprocating with you. The parents are reciprocating in the mood of paternal relationship. The gopis, they are reciprocating with Krishna in a loving relationship. And everybody got Krishna continuously. Otherwise, what would happen? Sometimes the parents, they would get Krishna only at home, but when he goes to the forest, they would not get Krishna. The friends, they would get Krishna when he was with them, but they will not get when Krishna is at home or with his gopis. The gopis will get very less time with Krishna. But in this beautiful pastime, for 7 days and 7 nights continuously, everyone through their heart's content, they saw Krishna and they reciprocated with Krishna. So in this way, we simply tolerate whatever miseries are there. Like the very basic principle of Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Matra sparshaastu konteya shito ushna sukha dukkhadan agama paino nitya stam titikshasva bharata. So these miseries are going to come as long as we are there in this material world. But we should simply try to tolerate them and at the same time take shelter of Krishna's devotees, Krishna's literary incarnation is Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna's deity form, Krishna's holy name. And in this way, we can make our way to the spiritual world and we will not be affected by any of the miseries of this material world. So in this way, this beautiful pastime happened. And as I was telling, after the 7th day, Krishna keeps this Govardhan hill down. And then all the Annakut is offered to Krishna. Krishna, this Chappan Bhog, it said that Krishna used to eat 8 meals in a day. Yashodama used to give him 8 meals a day. And for 7 days, he did not eat anything. 7 into 8, 56. So Krishna, the Brajvasis, they wanted to compensate for that. That 7 days Krishna has not eaten anything. They offered Chappan Bhog to Sri Krishna. So at this point of time, I think I am overdone with my time. So all the devotees, thank you very much for attending this small talk on Govardhan Puja and learning some lessons from Govardhan Puja for our spiritual life. So with this, I would like to stop here. Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki jai, Shri Bhagwan Shri Krishna ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna devotees, Parikshit Prabhu, thank you so much for the wonderful class. Let's ask if some devotees have any question or some doubts, suggestions. They can proceed. Devotees, any questions, doubts, clarifications from this lecture?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. As always, Prabhuji, wonderful class. Your classes are always very nectarian. So many lessons we could learn today. Thank you so much for connecting Bhagavad Gita with Srimad Bhagavatam, which was in fact a unique experience for me, which I have not heard before. So thank you so much for this wonderful session. So I would request our Yatra leaders to have, our own congregational. We have so many exalted speakers here in our congregation. So I would request Yatra leaders to have these kind of sessions, exclusive sessions for us. So it will be very nice. And Prabhuji, I have two doubts actually. I mean, both are connected. So would like to ask Prabhuji, we have heard that like we are not supposed to keep the Govardhan Shila. First of all, we are not supposed to take Govardhan Shila from Vrindavan. And secondly, if our spiritual master is giving us the Shila, yes, we are authorized to worship. This is what I have heard. And also, I have heard in one of the classes that we can keep the photo of Shila in our home and worship. So that is my first question. Is it okay, or do we have to? We should have the Brahmanical initiation, or second initiation to even worship the photo of Giriraj. That's my first question. Second question is that there are you have mentioned that there are two. Giriraj is Krishna himself, but he is in the mode of a devotee. So we can worship Giriraj as Krishna or as a devotee, as a pure devotee of Krishna. As we know that Haridasa Varya, he is called as Haridasa Varya. So my question is that what is the best way of worshipping him? Is it should we worship him as Krishna, or should we worship him as a pure devotee of Krishna? Hare Krishna.
So thank you, Prabhu, for the nice question. Regarding your first question, yes, we are not supposed to pick up Govardhan Shila on our own. It is a great offense. And somebody can gift us Govardhan Shila, some great devotee, that is fine. But at the same time, of course, we should have the permission and the blessings of our spiritual master, because he knows the best what is our purification, what is our level. Can we worship Sri Giriraj Govardhan, or will be committing offense? Regarding the can we keep the picture, I am not very sure about that, but I presume that yeah, it is safe to keep a photo. That is not a problem. Just like many people, they don't keep deities of Radha and Krishna because it's very difficult and requires a very high level of purification. So similarly, but the photos, that is not a problem. So similarly, Shri Giriraj Govardhan, we cannot have Govardhan Shila until and unless we are qualified, but we can keep a photo, should not be a problem. Maybe Sid Gorang Prabhu or some other senior devotees, they can comment more on that if they have other opinion. Regarding the second question, yeah, as I was telling that Giriraj is having two modes. One is he is non-different from Krishna, and at the same time he is servant of Krishna. So we can worship him in either ways. He will reciprocate with us. But what is beneficial for us? If you ask what is beneficial for us, I was reading that we should worship Giriraj in the mood of a servant. Like Radharani herself is glorifying Giriraj as Haridas Varya, that he is the topmost of all devotees of Krishna. Radharani is not glorifying Giriraj as Krishna himself, but he is glorifying as the Haridas Varya. Because devotees of the Lord, they are more merciful than the Lord himself. We don't have any qualification to worship Radha Krishna or even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but it is through the mercy of devotees like Srila Prabhupada and our spiritual masters that somehow or other we are performing all these worships. So it's best for us if we worship them in the form of devotees. Like Krishna himself also tells that who is my devotee? So somebody who is worshipping Krishna directly, Krishna says that I don't accept him as my devotee. But somebody who is worshipping my devotee, then I accept him as my devotee. So at multiple places, I think Krishna has made this clear. So thank you, Prabhu. I hope this answers.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the clarification. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Devotees, any other questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, please.
Really wonderful class. Thank you so much. As Siddhagaram Prabhu has written in the comments, it was like a refresher course for Govardhan Puja. It was really wonderful. And in this context, I also recall what you spoke last year during Govardhan Puja celebrations in Avataridesh. It was a Zoom session. And I still remember to this day how you compared Krishna lifting Govardhan to Srila Prabhupada giving us ISKCON, Govardhan in the form of ISKCON to protect us from Maya and the material world. You also spoke very beautifully about how the material world is giving thunder showers on us, but Srila Prabhupada, through his ISKCON movement, has protected us, and with single-handedly, he's holding up ISKCON, and we are all like the residents of Raja who are under Krishna's shelter. We are all under ISKCON shelter. We think that we are doing many sevas and we are doing a lot of things for ISKCON, but actually it is Srila Prabhupada's potency which is actually holding ISKCON up. So it was a wonderful comparison. I sort of recollected it today, what you spoke last year. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for a wonderful class again. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Charurup Prabhu. Actually, I wanted to had lots of more material to share, but then because of shortage of time, I had to literally run through fast. But nice that you covered this very important point, which I skipped this thing. So thank you very much for sharing it with everybody.
Thank you.
Any other questions? And I thank Charupa Prabhu for remembering last year's pastime along with this. I was not able to recollect actually. Prabhuji, I think no more questions from our devotees. Just to have a recap on what you have took the class. First of all, I would thank you for the wonderful class, and it was a refresher course as Siddhagama Prabhu has told. The topics which you covered from the Bhagavatam 10th canto, 27th chapter, 13, 14 and 15 verse. It is about the prayers of Indra to Lord Krishna. You touched upon the things which we learned from Sri Radhika Vallabh Prabhu's class on why we are celebrating the present one, the past, the reason to celebrate, and the future, what we have to imbibe on behalf of these celebrations. The lessons point, the takeaway points for the lessons learned is that Krishna is non-different from the Vigraha form and is always the Yagneshwara. The Giri Govardhan Lila, you covered all the entire teachings of Bhagavad Gita, taking verses from different chapters like Bhagavad Gita chapter 9, 10, 15, and the three modes of material nature in 2.62 and 63. It was really inspiring to us. And the importance of Tulsi Maharani and why Tulsi Maharani is very dear to Krishna. You gave us a pastime on this also. And you emphasized that on Krishna is accepting things on the condition that what love and devotion which we give him and not about the opulences which we offer to him. And he reciprocates and gives whatever we give it to him, he reciprocates and gives it back to us. And you described us about the Annakut, the Lila of Annakut also. And there is one question for me, Prabhu, I'll put it at the last. The other thing that he curved the bride of Indra, and especially the way he reciprocated with the devotees for 7 days and 7 nights to the different devotees in different levels, like in different bhavas, like parental, friendship, gopis, relationship, everything was really inspiring, Prabhu. And one more point which I learned it just now is that why they offer 56 bhogas, Chapan bhoga to Krishna. That is for 7 days, 7 days, 7 nights, he has not taken anything. And 8 meals per day, it accounts 56. This is a new information to me, Prabhuji. That was also inspiring. And you touched on the different leelas, what Krishna has done. Prabhu, one more small question. On the account of Damodarati, which we are visiting houses and we are meeting so many devotees who are into demigod worship, especially when we talk about Krishna and we want to persuade them to take into Krishna consciousness, but as you said that there are different levels of religious principles and they come in below they are in the lower level or middle level somewhere. How to persuade them that to take up Krishna consciousness? First question. And which way can we persuade them to start with Krishna consciousness? Can you just give us some information on this?
Thank you, Prabhuji. So very nicely summarizing all the points which I tried to cover. And a very important and a practical question that we are visiting so many different houses. So it's a very sensitive question also actually in one sense. Just before I answer, I would like to thank His Grace Radhika Vallabh Prabhu. This question, similar question was asked to Radhika Vallabh Prabhuji also last week, that how we can encourage people to take spirituality at a higher level. So based on that only, like I would answer this question. So of course, it is a very sensitive question that we are trying to approach so many different houses and try to encourage them in spirituality and take to Krishna consciousness. But we should understand, as Krishna himself tells in Bhagavad Gita, that we should not try to unnecessarily disturb the faith of these people. So we have to judge with our intelligence and with Krishna's and Acharya's mercy in our heart, with a sincere heart. When their mercy is there, we should be like, trying to judge that whether this person is ready to take Krishna consciousness or spirituality to the next level or no. If I talk to him something about directly about the demigods, Ganeshji or Shivji or whoever they are worshipping, whether they will feel offended or no. And in this way, if you are having a close relationship, a rapport with them, probably you might be able to tell them directly. So it requires some fine tuning and balancing and experience that how to approach such persons. But definitely we should not try to disturb them too much if they are not ready. But at the same time, we can, in a nice way, we can present Krishna consciousness to them instead of talking the negative aspects or the less intelligent aspects of demigod worship, as Krishna is telling. We talk to them about the positive things, that how Krishna consciousness is so good, how Krishna can deliver us from this material world. And maybe some occasions like this, like Govardhan Puja. Practically everybody is aware of this Anput Mahotsav, but we don't realize, we don't think the lessons which Krishna is giving us through this. Practically, as I was telling, full Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has demonstrated through this pastime. So people, because they don't think we can, implode them or encourage them to think, why, what do we learn from this? It's very clear. The King of Heavens is asking that forgiveness from Krishna, that please forgive me. And you are the Supreme Lord. And we are running after different Devi Devtas. So in this way, such different pastimes are there. We can try to encourage those people themselves to think and then come to an answer. So that would be another way. And at the same time, as I said, just try to give them the positive aspect of Krishna consciousness. Encourage them to read Bhagavad Gita. I guess that would be a very big boost, because the knowledge of scriptures is very, very essential. Otherwise, everything remains a ritual. So we encourage them to read Bhagavad Gita, because Bhagavad Gita is again accepted by all Hindus. So keeping that as the central point, we can encourage them. So yeah, as Radhika Vallabh Prabhu, so what he answered last week, he said that we give them this Krishna consciousness, we present to them, but we don't force them anything upon them, and let them take their own time to come to the next level. As and when their purification is happening, when they are ready, they will also take to the higher level, but we don't try to force everything upon them at one time.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So I hope this answers.
Thank you. Siddhakaram Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Can I ask one question?
Please, Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna, Parikshit Prabhuji, Dhanal Pranam.
Hare Krishna,
Prabhuji, you discussed about the pride of the Indra and Brahmaji. Is this the part of the Lila to teach us, or really they had this pride with them?
Mataji is asking very secret and deeper level of questions and understanding. So let me clarify one thing. I stick to more of Bhagavad Gita for the reasons not that, I wanted to correlate Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita teachings. I'm more comfortable talking about Bhagavad Gita. That is one thing. Bhagavatam, I feel, is very high level teachings and understanding which is there. So anyways, apart from that, Mataji, your question, what I understand is, of course, Indra does get sometimes pride. Brahmaji also does get pride. Brahmaji also gets this pride sometimes, as he is telling that because we are in this position of the controllership, of the creator, of the king of the heavens, we become proud. That is natural, that happens many times. That is why we have to be very, very careful when we are in the position. So like when we once visited, when we used to visit like Vrindavan and take darshan of different places. So we visited this place where Brahmaji stole the cows and kept the caves and the gopas and all. So there Guru Maharaj told us that this is a place where we should intensely worship, especially all the leaders, people who are in the position of some, whatever, they're holding certain positions. We should intensely worship to the Lord, that we don't become pride. And in this such pastimes also, we should understand that we should be praying to the Lord, that we don't become proud. So yes, sometimes they do become proud. That is one way of understanding. Second way, as I was telling, that Indra is also a great devotee, but we should not think him in a negative part, that, oh, Indra is becoming so proud again and again, he's committing so many mistakes. And ultimately, Krishna, he is using his own devotees to teach us certain lessons also. So at our level, we should understand these two practical things, that Krishna uses his devotees to teach certain lessons to us. Second thing, we should not become pride whenever in certain positions all. So other deeper meaning, I don't know, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. I think there is no further questions from our devotees. Once again, I thank you for the wonderful class within a short notice of time for taking up this. So on behalf of Yatra, I would like to thank you, and we like to chant Hare Krishna mantra for this wonderful class today. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Thank you all very much. I would like